Good afternoon. Today on Business Success in 6 with Stacie, I have Kimberly Kane here from Kane Communications in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Kimberly, thanks for hopping on.
Stacie, it's great to be with you.
Thank you. I wanted to ask you a few questions about your business today to share with our clients in our community. So if you're okay, I would love for you to describe Kane Communications to us and how you can help them. Is that okay?
Sure, let's do it.
Wonderful. Thank you. When people ask you what Kane Communications does, how do you describe it?
Sure. Well, Kane is a purpose-driven public relations, marketing, and branding agency. And when I say purpose-driven, what I mean is that we really want to work with clients who are deeply committed to being great employers, wanting to be employers of choice, wanting to be great corporate citizens, wanting to stand for more than just producing a great product or a great service, but really, companies that want to be good corporate citizens. So we work with them to help them, develop that purpose-driven brand, help them develop and identify those stories, those great stories to tell, and then get those stories out to the world through strategic public relations and marketing. So, we're a company that likes to partner with our clients. We're not order takers. We tend to work as trusted advisors with the companies who hire us, really walking alongside them and asking questions like, what's the problem that you need public relations to solve? And what does success look like? And let's talk about different ways that we can help you get there.
That's beautiful. You have a very, very clear message and also one that has a lot of social responsibility behind it. So thank you for doing that. I love the
Sure.
purpose driven.
It's more important than ever today when you take a look at how everyone from, Gen Z, millennials, and women are making investment decisions, and how we're also making decisions about where we want to work and what kinds of products we want to buy. And, studies show over and over again that it's not good enough to be a company that just delivers traditional shareholder value. We know today that, people like you and me, Stacie, we're going to pop the hood on a company and we really want to know, well, what kinds of ingredients do you actually have in your products? And what kind of impact do you have on your environment? And how do you treat your employees? And if we don't like what we see, we're going to find someone else. I think here in the Midwest, companies are just beginning to understand how important this is. When you take a look at the different coasts and you take a look globally, companies tend to be ahead of where we are today. And that's one of the things I'm so excited about being a Milwaukee-based agency is we have an office in Geneva, Switzerland. We have, an individual in Geneva, a team of individuals in Geneva who have worked with United Nations, who really understand the UN's sustainable development goals. And so it's great to take companies here in the Midwest along that journey. It doesn't have to be a rapid one. We can take it poco a poco, if you will, just really helping them understand, what is the purpose that drives us? How do we bring that to life? And how do we measure the results of our work, again, not just in terms of bottom line results, but in terms of the great outcomes we're delivering for our employees, for our stakeholders, and in our community as well.
Absolutely. The impact now and for tomorrow as well. That's really incredible work.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I know we already talked a little bit about how you're impacting the community because you were just sharing all this, but what do you think one of the biggest ways that you impact our community is?
Yeah. I think there are probably a few ways. Maybe one of the biggest is that all of our employees are involved in nonprofits, either as volunteers or on nonprofit boards. If we think community engagement is important for our clients, we better be walking our talk. So all of our employees are involved in one way or another with a nonprofit organization or multiple nonprofit organizations that they're a part of. But in addition to that, Kane as an organization, we contribute a tremendous amount financially to nonprofits that align with some of our goals. So you may have seen the Kane Insights research that we did in 2021. So early in 2021, we released a study about the impact of the pandemic on working women. And we saw that the pandemic had disproportionate impacts, so multiple impacts on working women here in the state of Wisconsin. So we're working with employers to understand what those results mean for them and understand how to build workplaces where women thrive. But in addition to that, we're also working with nonprofits that engage women at all levels, from colleges that are really seeking to propel young women into the career world, to women who are entrepreneurs today, who have left maybe corporate jobs or in some sort of transition, and they're looking for ways to become entrepreneurs themselves. So there are a lot of different ways that we as an organization are giving back, either financially or through volunteer work, to support young women and to support women on their journey to be successful and independent.
That is so incredible in so many ways, from your employees being on boards and volunteering to, I'm really curious about the impact of women, females, moms during COVID. I have not read that yet. I'm very, very curious. I have three boys myself, and I was trying to
Mhm.
homeschool three children while working, and it's a definite task, and I know it had an impact on all of us. So thank you for sharing that. Thank you for doing so much in the community. I can't wait to hear more and share more about that. At this time, I'd like to ask you one challenge. What is one challenge that you have faced that other business owners could learn from?
I think one of the most important things that we as business owners and business leaders need to do is make sure that we're planning properly for the future.
Mhm.
Coming out of COVID, I think a lot of us either saw that we needed to pivot because of what happened to COVID, or we saw that maybe our business was impacted because of COVID, and we had to come up with a different business strategy. So I think one of the most important things for business owners and business leaders to do is make sure that they have a strategic plan that they can actualize, that they can actually, bring to life. So today we're in the process of putting together our next 3-year strategic plan. It's an absolute blast. But I think when you read articles like, and the Harvard Business Review has some fantastic articles about, why founder CEOs fail or why companies don't scale.
Mhm.
There's some great lessons in there, but having a really smart, realistic plan, I think, is one of the most important things that we as business leaders and business owners can have, and making sure that we're empowering people on our team to activate parts of that plan. So it's not all on our shoulders.
Absolutely. That's great advice. What does the future look like to you? And do you have an exit plan?
Yeah, great question. I think growth and expansion are really important elements of our future. So we're in that planning process right now. I'd like to say in the next 3 to 5 years, we'll have one more location outside of the state of Wisconsin, which I'm really excited about. As far as exit planning, it is something that we're beginning to do. That's part of our strategic planning process right now. I'm not even close to ready to exit the business, but I see myself being a part of it for 15 to 20 more years. But Stacie, I think to your point, this is the perfect time for me to start thinking about what's next after my involvement in the company.
Absolutely. Yeah, we always want to have some end game in mind so we can make sure that we get there the way we want to, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And developing then, who are those successors at every level within the company. So making sure that we're training people who can do our jobs. And I think that's hard for founder CEOs because, I mean, we may literally own everything. Maybe we have a partner, but our company is our baby. And when you come out of it from a functional place, I come out of it from TV news and public relations. Being an entrepreneur, being a business owner is not something I ever planned for. It really just happened. I had the choice. I mean, I'll never forget the day where I had so much work coming at me. I was hiring contractors to help with different aspects of the business. But from a financial perspective, if you're growing very quickly, it may not make sense to outsource that much of your business to contractors. I was paying my contractors 3 times more, if not more than that, than I would a full-time employee. So I had that moment of reckoning where I said, is this what I want to continue doing? Or do I actually want to start a business? And that's when I began hiring full-time employees. But it's hard to let go, and you probably know that. It's really hard to begin to delegate and then elevate yourself into that leadership level.
Absolutely. And it can be really scary, but obviously it's very rewarding when you take that risk, right? As long as you've got a pulse on everything.
And as long as you're hiring the right people, hiring and empowering the right people.
That's beautiful. I love that you use that word multiple times, empowering too.
Mhm.
That's empowering for all of us. All subjects open. What inspires you most?
I'm a mom of 4. And honestly, my children inspire me the most. I have 2 teenagers and 2 in their 20s. And as much as I loved them when they were little, I am so inspired to see them take ownership over their own lives. That motivates me more than anything to try to be a role model for them, and to keep doing great work. So again, maybe it sounds trite, mom of 4, but my children are just a constant source of inspiration.
Absolutely. I can totally relate. I had a woman once tell me, Stacie, your job is to work yourself out of a job. And,
Mhm.
so when you look back and look at your kids, if you can feel just so proud of them and yet, like you said, be that role model, it's really, really inspiring. So thank you for all that you're doing for women, for the community, and for the world. This is just absolutely beautiful. Kimberly, thank you so much. If somebody wants to get in touch with you or your business, what's the best way for them to do so?
Yeah, thanks, Stacie. There are a few ways to get in touch with us. There's a link on our website, so they can go to kanecomgroup.com and send us an email directly through our website. They can certainly email me directly, Kimberly@kanecomgroup.com. Those are probably the easiest ways to get a hold of me. And I will send you a link to the Kane Insights research so you can see what we learned.
Wonderful. Thank you. And I will also share that if that's okay with you.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time today. I wish you a wonderful, wonderful 2023.
Thanks. You too. Take care.
You too.